Good day, sir. I'm Marinas from BSN Treaty. I will reporting the preservation of intangible cultural heritage under the cultural history. So for the learning objectives, the students will be able to identify examples of intangible cultural heritage in the Philippines and discuss the challenges of preserving them. Students will be able to analyze the impact of colonization, globalization, and modernization on Philippine culture. And students will be able to present a research on a chosen aspect of Philippine cultural history. So, for the definition in intangible cultural heritage, intangible cultural heritage is more challenging to preserve and protect than tangible ones, like the Sabanin's Buklod Thanksgiving ritual system, due to diminishing participation in youth interest and the loss of significance due to influx of other cultures. So the Philippines protects its intangible cultural heritage, including traditions like the Hudhud chants, the Ranjin epic, and Panak ritual. So the NCCA manages and protects the intangible cultural heritage through the PIICH, aiming for a UNESCO recognition. Panak is a post-harvest tagging ritual in Ifugao, symbolizing community coordination and beliefs about the coming year's prosperity. Other proposed UNESCO elements include festivals, boat building traditions, epics, and crafts from the various region. So the NCCA inventories, which is the intangible cultural heritage elements across five domains, including oral traditions and expression. So the K for intangible cultural heritage elements, which is we have masterpieces, which is the Hudhud Chants of Ifugao in 2001, the Ranjan Epic of Maranao in 2005, Ponok Tagging Ritual of Ifugao in 2015 for inventory listed under the Philippine Inventory of Intangible Cultural Heritage by the NCCA. And for management, protected, promoted, and inscribed to UNESCO. So, intangible cultural heritage elements and regions. So, we have the Biag ni Lamang, Epic, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, and Abra. Tulimaman, Epic, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, and Abra. Apo ni Bulinayen, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, and Abra. Ulalim Epic in Kalinga and Hudhud Epic in Ifugao. And we have here the examples picture of Biag ni Lamang, Dulimaman, Apo ni Bulinaya, and the next slide is the Ulalim Epic and the Hudhud. So the other proposed UNESCO elements is Ati-Atihan Festival of Aklan, traditional boat building and maritime culture of Batanes and Tawi-Tawi, Hinilawod epics of Panay, Apong Iru, fluvial festival in Apalit, and Peña waving in Aklan. We have also the bato tattoo making of the boat in Kalinga. We have here the example pictures. We have the Atiatihan Festival, traditional boat building, piña waving, batok, and this is the other a domain, intangible cultural heritage element and the region. So for the oral traditions and expressions, we have the LM Epic in Ifugao, Origin Myth in Nueva Vizcaya, Upuan Etymology in Bulacan, Bangos Banter, Bulacan, Imbahan Poetry, Oriental Mindoro, and others. Then we have the performing arts, Moro y Cristianas, street drama, it is in countrywide. Zarzuela musical theater, it is also in countrywide in urban areas. A Passion, it is also countrywide. Mariana's Festival in Marinduque. Curatsa Dance is in Samar. Single Dance in Lanao del Sur. So for the next is knowledge and practices concerning nature and universe. So we have the Hononumangyan natural phenomenon rituals, which is in Mindoro, Tagbanwa, Palawan cosmology in Palawan, Balaan Sacred Mountains in Davao del Sur, and Balaan Astrology, Sultan Kudarat. And we have the Jama Mapun constellation in Atawi-Tawi. And the last one is the traditional craftsmanship. Philippine Earthenware Pottery Countrywide. Traditional boat building in Philippine maritime culture. It is also in countrywide. Traditional boats and Batanes in Batanes. Sinadumparan Ibatan house types in Batanes and Yubuk is in Batanes. The list is by no means exhaustive, as presently there are 367 intangible cultural history under the PIICH. Listing is but one strategy for these intangible cultural heritage elements to be recognized, preserved, and promoted. A lot of efforts needs to be made to ensure that this intangible manifestation of our culture will be not be lost to oblivion. So for the lesson of the summary, or lesson summary, we have the cultural history concerns itself with cultural traditions and interpretations of historical experiences through the extensive ways of Filipinos of various ethno-linguistic backgrounds live. An aggregate of past cultural activities such as rituals, costumes, ceremonies, practices, and traditions. The second is the epics are vital historical sources that reveals early Filipino values and can be used to supplement written Spanish sources on prehistoric Philippine history. So for festivals and celebrations reflect the syncretism through the centuries between indigenous people beliefs and practices with foreign influence such as the Catholicism or Islam that make up a distinct Philippine festival culture. And the country's intangible cultural heritage are important expression of our culture that colonialism attempted to remove, but remained in the lives of many of our people. We must do everything humanly possible to ensure that these costumes, tradition, practices, and knowledge remain for the future generations to learn from and reveal at as proof that Filipino culture is rich and diverse. So that will be all for the intangible cultural heritage, and thank you very much and have a good day.